All right. Hey, everyone. So I'm here with some of the ladies who have just recently graduated from the somatic certification. I have to say, every single one of these ladies is extremely badass. And I gave them a couple questions to ponder. And I just told them that they could let me know which question resonated with them. And we're going to speak first with Miss Andrea. So, Andrea, the question that resonated with you, you said, what hold on. Now I already forgot. Andrew, what was the question again? I'm gonna have to edit this. That's fine.
What was the biggest fee? Oh, no, no, no. What specific results improvements did you experience, tangible and intangible, while working together?
Okay. Okay, everyone. Hey, it's Rachel, and I'm here with some of the wonderful ladies that just graduated from the somatic certification. And first up, we've got Miss Andrea. So, Andrea, tell them a little bit about some of the results that you experienced throughout this program, tangible, intangible, and maybe a little bit of like where you were, where you are now.
Okay. I'm still a therapist in training, and so I use this work a lot in what I in my work, working with clients. And before starting, I was just starting, so was nervous, not sure what to do, trying to fill space, and once starting the course, this was kind of like filling in those empty spots and
Mhm.
helping me to help the client even more effectively. Um, it has been for me like a warm hug. I think I've said that before, but I feel different. I feel different. I move differently. I respond differently to people. I noticed I had an example the other day. I was in my car and my husband called with a list of things he needed me to do for my dad. And I just had to say, Stop, I'm in overload." I've become more aware of what I need and what I want and what I can't do
Mm.
anymore. And it's been this space that's helped me get that to that place where I'm taking care of me, and it feels amazing. So definitely over the last couple of months, I've grown as a person, and I'm feeling amazing.
Ah, thank you so much for sharing. And I do remember, I think it's when we were chatting about your story about like, it feeling like a big hug. And I love that because I want people to have safe spaces
Mhm.
for
It
themselves and as healers, and that is what you are. I don't know if we it's harder, it's sometimes more challenging to find a space like that.
Definitely, definitely. And so, I definitely say thank you for creating this space. It's been amazing with all the other women and just kind of hearing their stories and just feeling part of a community has just
Mhm.
been an awesome thing for me.
Well, Andrea, thank you really from the bottom of my heart for trusting in me. I know you wobbled a little bit in the beginning. I know you were a little bit on the fence, along with most of the people, in all truthfulness. That's normal. But yeah, for trusting in me and putting in the work and doing the work. And I think it's such a gift, anyone who now gets to work with you. I
Oh,
mean,
thank
even
you.
before it probably was, but now I think, just a more updated version, it sounds like, of Andrea they get.
Andrea 2.0.
Andrea 2.0, I love it. And I really do hope you'll keep putting you first and choosing you.
I will. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So let's move on to Miss Tammy. Tammy, tell us a little bit, maybe for you, what the experience has been like inside the certification.
All right. Well, first, I have to say that I took it because I'm a yoga teacher and trending is somatic healing. And I would get asked, "What is somatic healing?" And I would be like, it's just another way for someone else to make money to create another certification that I have to take. I said, Soma means body, and all physical activity is somatically healing. Like that's why doctors tell you to exercise to reduce stress. So then I talked to another, who I consider my yoga mentor. And I said, "So what do you think about this certification? Should I get it?" And so she offers at her studio a somatic yoga class and someone teaches it who has a certification. And she said, you should come and take her class, which I didn't do. But the mere fact that my friend said, it was a legitimate thing, and she goes, because I had so back real quick in December, went on a retreat with her and we did holotropic
Mhm.
breathing and I had a profound experience. And I said, I want to do that with people because that was amazingly healing for me. It started me off on this journey. And she said, well, you have to get certified to do that because you've got to be able to hold space for whatever
Mhm.
comes up with people. And that's true because I was sobbing in the end. And I can't imagine if the teacher, didn't have a certification and some level of confidence in holding this space that it would have
Mhm.
freaked him out, right?
Sure.
So I took that as a legitimate, okay, this will be a legitimate. Then I saw your thing, of course, come across Instagram and I was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to her. And and it was not so my expectation was like a usual certification. There would be a book and set of exercises and participating was going to be superficial. But you did say, and then we had that first meeting where it was kind of like this is sort of what it'll be like, and
Hmm.
I guess people could make a commitment. I think I had already committed financially at that point anyway, because that's just how I am. And and uh and so I volunteered, to be vulnerable. And I was surprised that at the level that you took me and that what came up and then like the participation from the other people in the group because I'm not a therapist, I'm a yoga
Hmm.
teacher, but there are several therapists in this group. And so then, I'm pondering that. I'm like, all right, because I've been working on myself for the last 10 years and really trying to find the way that was gonna not solve all my problems, but get whatever this thing is that I keeps getting in my own way. And in areas of my life, like all areas, like even when you wouldn't expect it. And so it was like the tip of the iceberg. And then when we got into the course, I volunteered quite a lot and worked on, I realized that I had um issues that were related to like early childhood, and it made total sense. And I started to understand the nervous system and how it holds these responses.
Hmm.
And you don't stay there, you grow up
Hmm.
and move into new phases, but your nervous system responds to a lot of these new situations as if
Hmm.
it's still that, where you're 6 years old, but now you're 26 years old, technically able to take care of yourself. However, your nervous system doesn't know that, and it doesn't know that you're being threatened, not being threatened in the same way. Um, and so I started to understand the difference between an emotion because I really didn't have feelings that I could identify. I had sudden neurological um, episodes and couldn't put a name on it. And it reminded me of, because your body does this. I got electrocuted when I was 3, and all through my life, I had like physical shocks
Hmm.
whenever I would relax, like going to sleep every single night. And I talked to a doctor later about that. I just mentioned it. Does that happen? And he's like, oh, yeah. And people who are struck by lightning are more likely to be struck again because that current stays in your body. So I started to relate, kind of connect that things that happen to you that are emotionally, mentally, whatever traumatic is kind of like an electrical current that
Hmm.
stays in your body. And until you do something to allow it to move through completely, you can't, it's not going to stop. And there has to be a willingness to go to the past, and you're not blaming anyone for anything. You're just starting where it started and
Yeah.
understand what you didn't get at that time. And then just to circle back around the importance of this certification, like for me, if I want to help someone else, I need to know these things so that I also don't have an expectation that we're going to be one and done. Like, oh, we're doing breath work. Now everybody's fine. No, no. For now, yes.
Yes.
But then, there's still something that you need to address and continue to do this breath work and take the time to be still and look inside and not constantly running towards something else. We're away
Mm.
from something else. So I don't know. Did that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes, it did. Thank you for sharing, Tammy. Would you say, I know you mentioned this, so hopefully it's okay if I say it, but you know, you mentioned you mentioned before and you just said about running away. Would
Hmm.
you say that's one of the tangible results you've experienced from this is that learning how to truly, like you said, you weren't really connected to the emotion, but like now being more connected to the emotion, there's like this almost sense of grounding. And
Yes.
then no,
Yeah.
not the need to necessarily bolt.
Right. Because now, for example, I'm in a relationship that is new, and old me would have had a thought of a reason to just end it. Like just stop now and let's leave. But I have ended and started so many times, and I have observed other people. For example, my son broke off an engagement, but he worked through it the way I think a healthy person would, so that he and his girlfriend could experience all the pain,
Mm,
and they are friends now. Like they joke about going to IKEA instead of making a trip to move in together. It was a trip for him to buy stuff to move out. But they did it together, and it was really sad.
mm,
And I was like, I've never experienced that because I'm always like, see ya. And
yeah.
and now I understand. So now I'm like able, because I'm more grounded and I understand it's not my nervous system flipping out that I'm gonna die, or I'm not sick and alone and wondering what's gonna happen to me. Now I'm like, I'm an adult. I have a house. I have a job. My feet are on the ground. I am in my body. And so I'm able to ask questions or say what I need or
Mm,
allow myself to go through the whole process, and even if it hurts, I know it's not going to kill me, I guess is the
yeah.
thing.
So powerful.
Yeah, 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 it is. And if anyone was on the fence, that's what I was going to answer that question. It would be, do you want to continue repeating yourself as you are right now, again and again and again, ad infinitum, until the end, with nothing changing? Just suck it up and do it.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. So if you're on the fence, what I hear Tammy saying is, unless you want to stay the same,
Yeah,
but if you don't,
right.
then this is a good option.
It's a great option.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the only, I mean, I've been in therapy for, one time I told someone I had the same therapist for 20 years and she laughed out loud. And I was like, why is that so funny? Doesn't that mean the therapist is great? She's like, no, it does not mean that.
Different
No,
reasons. I'm not gonna make any comments,
no,
but
I know. I was like,
yeah,
well, yeah, nothing's changed. It's just the
yeah,
same conversation.
over and over. Yeah.
Listen's really good.
Yeah. And that's sometimes what we need, right? It
Right.
depends on
Yeah.
where we're at.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm not trying to be like
Yeah,
that, but
no, I know.
I really, really, I took the time over the last, like, before this course started, there were 13 months where I spent on my own, no relationships of any kind, not moving around, um, to purposely get to know myself, and I really, really wanted to figure this out. And so this came along and this helped me. I mean, it did. So it worked for me. Yeah. And I know that it doesn't mean that I'm fixed and will never have another challenge. Like now I understand how I will continue to grow, and I want to.
Ooh, that was amazing. Yes, this is not about fixing anyone. I'm really big on that.
Yeah.
Even the word heal, it's really more about learning how to integrate. So when the problems come up, they don't take us down for so long. And let's
Yes.
be real, they're still going to take us down. A lot of us sometimes. And we're not here to shame or judge that. But can we want to create a faster rebound?
Yeah, and you gave me a lot of permission for my old not so healthy coping skills. Like I didn't get shamed for that because
Mhm.
I think a lot of times there's too much focus on, oh, you need to stop doing that bad behavior and not enough focus on what started it. And go
Yeah,
ahead, do that behavior and let's still stay
yeah,
on task,
yeah,
because you can.
yeah,
I don't think it's one or the other or black and white or yeah.
yeah. Well, Tammy, thank you so much. You were such an incredible participant, and your sharing was so helpful for so many people. I know everyone really felt that. It really did. It just brought so much to our group. So I am very grateful that I have had the opportunity to work with you.
Thanks, Rachel. I want to come to your studio, incidentally.
Yes, please do. All right, Heidi. So Heidi, tell us a little bit. Heidi, not a yoga teacher, right? Not an active therapist. So tell them a little bit about what drove you to want to join the program, and then what came out of it for you.
Yes, well, basically, I was like I told Rachel, I was just looking for a hot yoga class. My daughter was pushing me into, she was like, "Come on, mom, do the things that you love. Go back and," because I was feeling very stuck. Go back
Mhm.
and do the things you love. Think about the things you love. I don't know what it was, but I was just feeling really, really stuck. I was starting to actually give up. I just
Mm.
was like, I'm just giving up. And I stopped exercising, which is my number one favorite thing to do. All my favorite things that I like to do. I was just, and I don't know why. But anyway, I said, all right, I'll take that step. I do love hot yoga. And so I just Googled it, and aerial yoga came up, which is what my daughter was doing. She was doing some aerial yoga. And I said, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds challenging. How about I go really hard and do something I've never done before? So while I was Googling aerial yoga, this studio came up near me because I said hot yoga near me. Rachel's studio is literally 5 minutes from my house. So I started reading, what classes that Rachel had, but then I looked at what are other things she had, and it said something about workshops, and it said somatic certification, and I was like, "What the heck is that? And what is somatic? Period. What is this place? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what has my daughter got me into?" So I start reading it and looking at all the testimonials and all this stuff. And I was like, what? This is speaking to me. Like, what is this? This is everything I've been looking for my entire life. Like, it incorporates my love of exercise, my love of coaching people, teaching people, just I don't know, it just it was me. I was like, I've got to sign up for this and see if Rachel will accept me. Because it said somewhere on there that you have to be accepted. I'm like, oh, I'm old. Look, my gray hair. She's going to look at me and say, "What are you even doing in here?" So, so I put my entry in, and she said, "Hey, it looks like you live close or something. How about we come and talk about this?" And I thought, oh gosh, so now she's going to see me in person. But anyway, none of that mattered. None of that mattered. I was welcomed with open arms. I just like spilt out everything that was going on with me, my stuckness, and I just all of a sudden just felt safe, just even just talking to Rachel. And you know, so I told her the reasons that I want to do it and all this stuff. So then I go home and I'm like, oh, I told my husband, I'm not sure if I'm going to be accepted into this program. She said she's got 4 therapists or 5 therapists, all these people that are doing great things, and I'm doing nothing. I work at a corporate office. But anyway, you know, I'm not the type of person that just goes ahead and signs off on things. I think about it, think about it, think about it, rethink about it until I just say I'm not doing it. But I knew if Rachel accepted me into the group, I was going to sign. Sure enough, she accepted me. I went straight back down there and paid. You know? But basically, if anybody's on the fence about this, like, and you feel like all these testimonials, everything that you're reading, everything that does resonate with you, stop questioning it. Just do it. Just dive in. And this is a safe place. There's zero shame. Even when you do the yoga classes, there's just no shame. I've done a lot of classes in my life, and it's even the classes are very open, friendly. You just feel like family. It's a community of. And that's what she stresses also in the yoga classes. So just everything about it has been just what I was looking for. It's almost like, and of course my daughter takes credit for it. She's like, oh, that was me that told you to
Love
go
it.
do something. She takes credit for it. She goes, now that was me that said go out and do that. And that's fine. But
We'll let
I
her
I
have it,
just
Heidi, right?
yeah, we'll let her have it. We'll let her have it. She feels really good about that. And it's true, I didn't know anything, like Tammy said, I didn't know anything about my nervous system. I had no idea that, my kids were gone. They're not even kids anymore. They're like 27 and 29. And when they left, I started just thinking it, I don't know, I guess I had time to finally think.
Hmm.
And, just I was, just I don't know. I didn't have any laundry to do. I didn't have things to, and so then I started working on myself and just thinking about my past. I'm like, oh my God, what a horrible childhood I had. Like, you know, but I was raised by my grandparents because my parents were alcoholics, and I was lucky because they took us in. They took all 4 children in. But I didn't know that for all these years I've been in survival mode.
Yeah.
I've always been, I go to all these classes, yoga or regular classes. Whenever we lay down, the instructor's always trying to push my shoulders down because I'm always like this. I'm always
Hmm.
on high. But after taking this somatic practice, I realize now when I'm doing that.
Mm.
And so then I start breathing and I'm like, oh God, that feels so good to breathe. And then I start
Yeah.
doing different breathing techniques, all the things that I've learned in this class. And sometimes, when I'm going to bed, my grandson will sleep with me and we do the bees breath and we hum and he loves it.
Oh, yeah, kids love it.
And we just hum forever. And
I love that.
he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Those are things that I've never knew. So if you guys, are thinking about taking this class, you'll learn things that you never even thought that you would integrate in different ways. I never would have thought I would go to sleep and just start humming. That's just, but now I do it during the day. Sometimes I do it in a yoga class if I feel like something's getting hard,
Hmm.
or if I'm holding a yin pose, I'll just start humming to myself.
Mm.
You know, anything I didn't know about that. I didn't know about polyvagal. I didn't know about any of this stuff. This all new information. So, I highly recommend this for everyone, and now I feel like I'm not stuck anymore. I don't feel like I don't want to give up anymore. I want to, you know, pass it on to other people and,
Mm.
and figure out how I can do it in my way. Because
Yeah.
also what Rachel teaches you in this class is how to do it in your own way. You don't need to do the way everybody else is doing. You do it in your way. Like I like art, I like dance, I like, I think now I can just, like I said, when I read the testimonies from other people, I see how they were integrating it into their what they love. There was a hypnotherapist and she
Mhm.
integrates it. It's like so many different ways. So you can be creative, is what I guess is what I'm trying to say. Be
Yeah.
creative in your own way. Try to find the space that you can do it in. But Rachel makes you feel that way. She makes you feel like you're badass. I mean,
Well, you are, Heidi.
But and then you're going to meet a lot of awesome people. That's the other thing is Rachel does it in the workshop style. So you are not alone. You feel a safe space to speak. Um, sh- the group and Rachel and everyone makes you feel like you can have a safe space. Because like one day I just started to break down and Rachel said, well, do you guys see what's happening? She can't tell her family, she can't tell her husband and stuff. And that was true. She didn't even, she just knew. And the only place that I could tell, I was with the group. And
Yeah.
so I just felt better after that.
Yeah.
So it's been one thing after another. And yeah, and I really appreciate everything that Rachel's done and what everyone else in the group has done. And I feel like, I'm finally, you know, and I still know I have to still work through some things, some things that.
It's a
But,
lifelong
but
practice.
now I know how.
That's
Yes.
right. Just like Tammy said, it's not a one and done. And
Yes.
and we don't necessarily have to. What if we all in life didn't think about things that way? It's not one
Right.
and done. It's a
Right.
constantly evolving. We did a whole thing in our last class together about future self, past self, and we think about it, we are constantly changing and evolving. And
Yeah.
that means that there's different layers, different things will pop up. So yeah, it's not about learn this and you're done. It's about learn this so it's a journey. Stays with you for your life.
Right.
Me
Right.
too. Still
Mhm.
working through tons of shit.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
okay. It gets to be
Yeah.
okay. Instead of feeling like, I don't know, something's wrong with us if we can't move just past. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and that's the other thing is everybody's like, you know, why aren't you happy? Why can't you just be happy? What? Like, you know, are you happy? You know?
yeah.
So,
No,
yeah, a lot of
no.
projection, a lot of, and then if you are happy, they wonder why you're happy. So, but
Right?
anyway, you just
Oh,
can't win,
you
you
can't
know?
win, right?
Oh, why is she
Well,
happy? No.
yeah. And that's where, we learn to just be okay with ourselves, hopefully through this process, more okay with ourselves. So, um, as I was mentioning
Yeah,
earlier, we don't feel like we have to camouflage to other people.
right.
Ladies, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your experience. So grateful for both of you, everyone who's been a part of this with me.
Thanks,
Hold
Rachel. Thanks, Heidi.
No, thank
on,
you,
I'm gonna
Tammy. Thank
stop
you.
the